Multiverse of Madness was one of the most anticipated films in Phase 4, at least for me personally. And I definitely couldn't say that they didn't deliver a fun experience that dabbles in the strange world of the mystic arts, no pun intended, but it definitely left me with a feeling that I was kind of expecting more. Right off the bat, I will say I was not one of those people who were expecting 100 different cameos that never really showed up, and that's what ruined the film for me, because it definitely didn't. We got some pretty solid cameos, and I'm happy with the ones that we did get, well, except for Captain Marvel, but I'll kind of get into why with that later. Now, this movie does have a lot of things going for it, the majority of that being that it was directed by Sam Raimi, and he really did put his own artistic spin on the typical Marvel formula, and you get probably as close as we may ever get to a horror film in the MCU. Although, with Blade and Ghost Rider kind of on the horizon, I hope they do make a bit more of a dark and horror-esque film for them, but only time will tell. And from a creative visual standpoint, I think this movie stands out pretty well, not only in Phase 4, but the entirety of the MCU. I mean, we get creative fight scenes, we get unique ways of using certain characters' abilities, and even different locations all look rather great. With that being said, there are quite a few problems that stick out, and I think some minor adjustments could have made the movie not only have a bigger impact, but also a lot smoother leading from one act to another. And unfortunately, a lot of these problems are in the writing revolving around Wanda, and I say unfortunately because she's not only the main antagonist, but also a very fan-beloved character. Now, first off, Wanda's abilities and power level are explored very well in this film, but they're incredibly inconsistent. At the start, we learn that she can control demonic beings from other realms to hunt and kidnap America Chavez. Then the really big reveal is she wipes away this illusion that even Doctor Strange questions its legitimacy. She attacks all the other Sorcerer's Apprentice, and they start off strong with some cool behind-the-back haunting sort of scene, but why are they using bows and cannons? Wait, aren't they magic users just like Strange and Wong? Okay, maybe they don't have enough battle experience or just training in general to cast offensive spells. But you know who does? Wong and Strange. They tell the trainees to hold the shield, but they don't actually really cast a single spell. Then when the shield is breached, they just basically tuck their tails and run. They don't help in any way. So you're not making Wanda look strong and capable, you're making Strange and Wong look weak and incapable from what they've shown in the past. Remember the Strange versus Thanos fight? Where was any of that in this situation? Then after killing all these people, she stops and gives the villain speech that every movie does, and instead of killing or even knocking Strange and Wong unconscious, she just tosses them aside, allowing them to escape. Or at least, she allows Strange to escape. Wong gets knocked out. Skipping ahead a little bit, she raids the Illuminati and brutally destroys the entire facility, including the powerhouses of the Illuminati, which was kind of somewhat poorly handled, but still. And I'll hand it to Marvel, these deaths are pretty brutal. I like it, keep it coming. And when it comes to how the Illuminati died, you could really say whatever you want, but I think that Monica Rambeau should have appeared as Captain Marvel instead of Maria Rambeau. Wanda has a past with her from WandaVision, so it could have actually given her a little bit of an emotional tug-of-war scene, not wanting to fight this version of someone that she considers a friend. But anyways, after killing them, she chases Strange and America to the point where she is literally feet behind them. Not hundreds of feet, not miles, literally within a few steps of them, and she can't use any magic to grab or stop them from running. I suppose her magic would have been better utilized for a jump scare. That's on me, my bad. But it's too drastic of a change to go from altering someone's physical body in a fight scene that definitely should have ended faster if she was still able to alter reality, to then trailing someone by feet and not being able to stop them from running away. Like when they were running down the corridor and basically they were using the little button to shut every single door in front of Wanda. What if Wanda was like, yeah, I'm gonna shut that door first, and then she shuts the door and guess what? They're all trapped there together. Calm down, it's just a movie. She finally catches America, and once again, instead of killing or permanently stopping Strange from pursuing her, she just tosses him out of the way. With her being as powerful as she is, literally just a few scenes prior, she could have easily killed Strange and Wong at the same time with minimal effort. So Wanda's power level fluctuates through the entire movie, Strange's power fluctuates from what we've seen him do in the past, and there are too many inconsistencies to know who is capable of what when it comes to using their powers for different tasks. But okay, even if the abilities aren't consistent, the motivations have to be kind of spot on to really sell the movie, right? I'm not so sure. We see in WandaVision that she creates a false reality to have a life with Vision who she lost, and she has kids who she also created with magic just to live a life that she always wanted. When the spell was broken, her family was all gone. Now that being said, why couldn't she just recreate her children in this universe? It doesn't really make sense to me that her response to losing the kids that she created with magic is to try to steal kids from her alternate reality self. Okay, let's say that maybe the Darkhold clouded her judgment and made her think more this kind of like more evil path because it was corrupting her mind, so that seems reasonable enough, right? But if she's pretty much turned to the dark side, you can't have her going from negotiating with Strange at the beginning to make a deal, to then murdering a ton of characters and being okay with murdering a kid who aren't important to her, to then seeing the Wanda that she was going to take the kids from, and that's what turns her back to the good side. She goes from this sort of middle ground between good and evil to full-blown, yeah, she's gone dark side, to then back to this sort of in-between good and evil. If your whole reasoning for her being evil in the first place at the beginning of the movie are the corruptions of using dark magic and the Darkhold, then she shouldn't be swaying so back and forth so drastically. It somewhat makes sense that seeing her kids being scared of her is kind of what snaps her back into reality, but did she really think that she could just walk into another universe, dispose of another Wanda, and live her life there without something clicking about it being immoral? If she was completely corrupted by that point, which I'd say she was because she was killing people and trying to kill a kid, then why is it when these kids see her as evil, does she not just be like, well, we tried in this universe, on to the next universe? She even said that every Wanda in every other universe have their children, so why could she just be like, well, this universe, they think I'm evil, so I'm gonna go to the next one. Also, the idea of Wanda needing America's powers just in case her kids get sick is kind of a stale justification for killing America. It would have been way better if she was like, well, you know, if my kids get sick or pass away, I could just replace them with one from the multiverse. Now that would have been twisted and corrupted. Also, if Earth A38 had successful Ultron bots, that means Vision was never created. So who was the father of her children in that universe? Speaking of Vision, I think the ending would have been way better if like White Vision popped out at the end of the film and was like the reason that she snapped out of her corrupted state. She is solely trying to get her kids back, but what about the man she loves? I think him showing up to question her motivations and give her the pep talk of the century would have been an amazing way to end the movie and kind of talk her down from being evil. Or hell, even just showing up at the end probably would have done the trick if seeing her multiversal kids being scared of her was enough to snap her out of being evil. So the real big problem with this film is that you go from one extreme to the next for multiple different things and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Wanda swaps from being completely evil to only somewhat evil sometimes. She goes from altering reality and taking away Captain Marvel's powers to Captain Carter basically remaining alive for more than 0.2 seconds and being feet behind the people that she's trying to chase and unable to do anything about it. Doctor Strange goes from holding off the Mad Titan with a few Infinity Stones and turning black holes into butterflies to then summoning snakes and hissing to fight a being that Wong previously states to be one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Now, I like the scene where Strange got to possess the body of Zombie Strange, or even the one where he fought himself with musical notes. Those were really creative ways for them to show off some of the wacky sort of magic Strange is capable of, as well as show off how resourceful he is when it comes to the mystic arts. So to say the film has nothing going for it and it's all bad is just completely false, and Strange's sort of journey from where he goes from the start to finish with Christine was handled pretty well as well. You start with him dressing up to attend a wedding that he wishes was his own because he has to witness the girl he loves being handed to another man. It's like a little Dicky song over here. And even states at the end of the movie that he wishes things could have been different between them, but he will always love her in every universe. And right after saying that, funny enough, the person who shows up in one of the end credit scenes was none other than Kaale. Now, Kaale is a very interesting character because for one, she is the niece of Dormammu. So you see, she kind of opens the portal to the Dark Dimension, and if you remember that's what it looks like from the first Doctor Strange movie. She's an incredibly powerful and capable spellcaster, just like Doctor Strange, if not more so, and she even became the Sorcerer Supreme after the death of Doctor Strange's storyline in the comics. Kaale is actually one of Doctor Strange's biggest love interests, and they eventually get married, so for this movie to kind of end Doctor Strange's previous love interest and then immediately show us the next one was a little on the nose, but I'm fine with it because Kaale is dope. There's only two things that I sort of dislike about the ending of this film. For one, how the incursions are caused, and for two, how seemingly unaffected Doctor Strange is with his new third eye being opened. Earlier with the Sinister Strange fight, it's hinted that the Darkhold takes a heavy toll and corrupts whoever is in possession of it. And Sinister Strange's third eye is alluded to being caused by the corruption of the Darkhold, but at the end of the movie when Strange has his awakened, he's not only seemingly unaffected, but very much ready to use whatever power it brings to him. So it sort of brushes past any sort of downside or side effect that the Darkhold would have on Strange, and now is more like a power booster, not in any way of inconvenient for him. Now when it comes to the incursions, they say it's when the fabric of two realities sort of wears away, causing them to collide. This is caused by magic users dreamwalking between their variants in other universes. Now I hate to be that guy, but the comic version is just so much more grandiose. In the comics, there is an immensely powerful character named the Molecule Man, and long story short, one version of the Molecule Man killed another in another universe, and the power that he let off caused that universe to be destroyed, but also the neighboring universes to crash into each other, kind of like dominoes. Molecule Man was created by the Beyonders, who are basically the main villains of that storyline, or at least one of them. And is this man one of the Beyonders? Or just the one and only Beyonder? I'm calling it now, mark my words. This is the Beyonder right here. Anyways, the incursions would last for 8 hours, and basically when two universes started their incursion, the contact point was Earth, and if those two Earths collided, those universes would both be destroyed. But if one Earth was able to destroy the other in that 8-hour time frame, then both universes would be spared, but only one Earth would be able to survive. This eventually leads into Secret Wars, which is what Phase 4 is eventually leading to as well. So I don't really like that dreamwalking is the cause of the incursions, because it kind of just seems like a little less grand and more like someone who practices the mystical arts can kind of accidentally cause universes to collide like dominoes. But we'll see how it all plays out. Either way, it was a fairly fun movie that could lead us down some very interesting stories, but it was a little messy to say the least. Let me know your thoughts on the movie down below, leave a sub to show some love, and as always, have a marvelous day.